So let's jump into this. Today we are going to chat about AI and GPT and all those cool things. So, do you know what GPT is, Zahara?
I've had a very limited experience because I was a bit, I'm a very pen and paper sort of person, and, writing things on the computer doesn't really have the same effect. I actually love research, and so for someone to do that for me was not really that exciting. However, once everyone started talking about it and the cool features that it was able to do, couldn't not have a look. But essentially, from my understanding, it's a very smart piece of software that collects a whole lot of information based on everything on the internet, and provides you with an answer based on the question that you ask it, which is terrifying, very, very smart. And like exciting. I guess like you can see where it's going to be really successful and how it's already successful, but also how people can abuse it. And I think that's probably why this conversation today is so important.
Yeah, spot on. I do wonder when the end of the world's coming. But so I guess for those who don't know, ChatGPT, which is now kind of GPT as it evolves, GPT actually stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Basically, it's a language model that can answer questions and do anything in a human-like sense. So it's an AI ultimately, which is really cool, as in artificial intelligence. So the cool thing is it's only been out for, I would say, kind of like available to the public, I should say, for the past couple months. And I think we introduced it into the team probably 2 weeks after its release. And nearly everyone has jumped on board almost straight away in utilising it in various ways for our different fields. I think as a marketer, it's a massive tool that I'm going to use, and I currently use it, and as it evolves, I'll evolve with it, and so may my, I guess, job role as a marketer. That could potentially change. It might always have the foundational elements of a marketer, but it might be called something else in the future, and the way I approach tasks and so on for clients will be probably completely different.
Yeah, well, it's like the conversations that we're having with the team. For example, our IT guy who literally wrote code for what could have been an hour, like hours long project, was able to do it within a matter of seconds, and have it done for him. So the error in that was removed. So that changes his whole job description. And then the same for you, like we're seeing that your service will change because you're no longer required for website copy. It's not that you're not good enough, it's the fact that this is done in an error-free way. And so the outcome for our clients is far greater than having, it's just not efficient for you to sit there and slug away writing copy, trying to come up with words and put them in sneaky spots and whatever works for the SEO of a client. It's just not efficient to have you in that field anymore.
That's it.
We're seeing this evolve of a service. What's going to happen to lawyers, for example, when you can get the AI to write a contract for you. Yes, you still need that advice, but half their job's done because it's already been written for them, error-free. We're just going to see this landscape change as AI does jobs for you. Like even in schools, which we were talking about, kids started figuring out that GPT could write assignments for them. Yeah. And the teachers weren't really across that. So, the kids are literally last minute getting AI to write their assignments for them. Doesn't mean they learnt or understood what was being written, but it was being done for them in a matter of seconds, and they probably passed that class. Now there's checks and balances in place to cut that off, and so that you can recognize where that has been used. But the fact of the matter is, services, activities won't be the same when there's a faster, more foolproof way to do it.
That's right, and I do wonder if our dependency on technology is going to become greater as AI evolves. Are we going to rely on that for our lives more in the future? Like I mentioned, how are we going to see cleaning robots in the future? And I've seen some crazy concepts and ideas, and to be honest, that could be a reality in the next 5 to 10 years.
I'm okay with that.
We progress.
I hate vacuuming, but there's that little robot that vacuums everywhere. Like, that's
the Roomba thing.
Yeah, but I would be more than happy if there's a cleaning robot. But like, you do see, I guess one of the issues that we can raise about this AI thing is, yes, it does the work for you, but you're not learning what you're like, because part of what I enjoy doing is learning, figuring out the best way to do something, and then implementing it. So by just chucking in a question, for example, like, what's the best business structure for a trade business, it can shoot that out for me and I can pass that on to a client, but it doesn't mean I understand it. So my fear is that there's going to be a separation of intelligence almost, where the people who just rely on this artificial intelligence to produce work for it, pass it on, don't understand it, will just get very used to that, and won't actually use their brains to do anything. Whereas you can use it quite wisely and use it for its efficiency, but then understand it and alter it. So add some creativity to it, and context to it, because AI doesn't understand context. They don't understand the personality of the business or the brand of the business or any of those sort of things. So if you're able to use it for its efficiency, add context, then it's a really powerful tool for clients. If you're just using it for the sake of getting information across and you're not understanding it, you're really going to see where people get lazier and where the smarter people get smarter.
Just the old copy paste, which a monkey could do. So I wonder if there'll be a difference in the next generation that comes. I mean, I'm a couple generations up, but the next generation that comes through, are they going to just be this corporation's favorite person because they will just do what they're told and they don't think for themselves? So I think that you're right when you said that, is it going to necessarily help us in the way we want? I think the main thing is we need to remember that it's a tool. And, as AI is getting more advanced, it's going to be a larger tool in our lives. And it certainly helps to understand a topic or whatever it is that we're asking before you input the data. So for me, as I'm learning to use GPT, I already know about the clients that I have, about their business and who they are and their personality and their target audience and everything. So when I input my data into GPT, it gives me information with that's a bit more accurate because I've given it all this data. Whereas if someone just come in and didn't know anything about the business and you said, hey, look, could you write me something about this business? Could you write a website copy about this business? They might just put in some basic info like, yep, trade business, electrician, they do this, write me a website copy. And it's not going to, don't get me wrong, it's going to be good because AI is wicked, but it's going to lack that human-like, compassionate sort of the feeling and the personality aren't going to quite be there yet. It could be something that's in the future, like in the next 5 years, AI might be so advanced that it does display emotions and personality, and like you can make it more human-like with more prompts, like you're saying. write it in a more casual tone. It's going to write it more casual because humans don't necessarily speak in a corporate voice or tone. Everyone's human, so you start to get it to almost dumbed down a little bit, so it's more on our level. So, which is crazy to think that it's trying to speak at a higher level than what humans speak. So we're already down from them. So is it just a matter of time before the gap gets increased where AI is way up here and we're nothing? We just get pushed aside.
I'm curious to know. There's this cultural. I would argue that there's this a bit of a cultural stigma around arts and creatives. I really think they're going to become more important because that's something AI can't replicate. Is artwork, feeling, emotion, those sort of things, like human emotion. And so that's a really interesting conversation to like. AI will produce facts, which is another thing we need to talk about is where did the information come from? What's the bias and input that is creating that fact? But we'll get into that in a second. But where will creative sit? Because artwork is something that can't be replicated. Design can't really be replicated. Like, senses can't be replicated. A robot doesn't really have senses, can't touch, feel, smell, like all those sort of things.
You're right. It lacks that physical aspect of your physical arts and stuff. But when it comes to like digital design and so on, it is pretty massive in that space. In the way, so you've got GPT is just an AI tool. So you've got, which is about writing. You've got other programs which do different things. Like you mentioned before about lawyers, there's actually a lawyer AI already. They can technically use it, just not officially or legally use it yet. So there's heaps of crazy things like that. But there's in the arts sector, there's DALL-E 2 and Midjourney and heaps of other sort of, I wouldn't say knockoffs, but heaps of other AIs that create artwork. So you put in your prompts and you say, create me a Pixar styled thing with cinematic lighting of Gordon Ramsay as the Hulk, and it's gonna give you some crazy looking results, which is awesome. So it can do some amazing stuff in that way, and I think digital art is not necessarily dead, but it's being overshadowed by this because you don't have to pay a couple grand for commission for someone to do you up a say you want for your grandpa's 80th birthday, you want to get him a portrait of him dressed as Napoleon Dynamite or something crazy, I don't know, and you could originally just pay for someone to do that, and like I said, it might cost you a fair bit depending on the skill of the artist, whereas now you can jump on one of these AI tools, input in the data, and you've got it, and it will give you like a high resolution to print out. It's crazy. Yes. So that's cool, but when it comes to, I guess, to traditional arts and physical stuff, it cannot yet replicate that. And I say yet because we've already got like drones and we have robots and stuff, especially in medical fields and so on, that help and assist with everyday tasks. And we'll soon see cleaning robots. Like we've already got the Roomba, and there's already like lawnmowers that do it. And AI has been around for ages, but I think people are just becoming a bit more aware about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope it doesn't take over art and those sort of things. Like, I don't know. When you sit in a restaurant and the chef makes food in front of you, like, and you have that relationship with the chef, like, that's fun to me. Or, going to watch your friends dance and those sort of things, going through an art gallery. Like, I recently went to the Queensland art gallery, and it was just unreal. Like, those things you can't replicate. But yeah, that's just, you hope it doesn't get to that stage almost. But in terms of efficiency of business, AI is impressive. Like we were looking after a client who needed a training manual on how to do their service. So, for example, roller doors. Like, how do you install a roller door? Well, you look it up on AI. You literally say how to install a ... roller door, and it came up with all of it. Like, it was a step-by-step process of how you install that, and so the time it would have taken me to create that training manual would have been 40 plus hours. Well, it was done within 2 hours. I took the time to proofread it and add, the value added services that client provides to people. But it just, yeah, our people can do things so much faster. Policies and procedures, for example, writing a policy on drug and alcohol use would have taken me 2 hours. But it doesn't take longer than 30 minutes now. From time of needing to do it to sending it off to the client to review, it takes no time at all. So, yeah, my job's changed completely.
Yeah, and that's a good aspect in for business. Nearly every field in life, it's massive. Is the improved efficiency? Obviously, the efficiency rate at which someone can complete a task will be huge, and it already is. For example, with me, I know that before I started using GPT, it would take me weeks to put together a good. I say good campaign. I could whip one up in a few hours and it wouldn't be good, but take a week or two to piece together this really good campaign for a client. However, since having GPT, it takes a few hours, and it's good stuff. I'm not saying that because it's only a couple of hours, it's average. It's better than what I can do. To be honest, it's unreal. But it's great for clients. Like, it gives, I guess, me the ability to smash out those repetitive and automated kind of tasks like writing copy and so on, so that I can focus on the big ticket items for clients. So this way I can utilize this tool to help me smash out what would originally take a couple of weeks, get that done, and then focus on the bigger items that are going to help with lead generation and cool things like that for the clients.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I think in terms of strategic management of businesses where they've got 10 employees, if we increase efficiency and productivity, 10 employees will, like, you don't need 10, you need 5. So curious to see what that landscape looks like as well. You obviously don't want to get rid of people, but if it's a more cost-effective way, you've got to look at like where you can keep and make money.
That's right. And I think, it's definitely, like, as a marketer, I'd recommend familiarizing yourself with AI if you want to keep your job. AI, like, marketing's just one of the fields that can be massively affected by AI and GPT and so on, because, like I said, it can do those automated and repetitive tasks within minutes or hours. So, it is much more cost effective. And I guess that does bring around the question of, I guess, job displacement. Not every job is at threat, which is good, obviously. But I think I mentioned before how maybe marketing might become a different role entirely. So it might have its own job title, its own little niche. It's a different thing, but it's still along the lines of helping a business grow and be more profitable and stuff. So, it could wipe out entire industries, to be honest, or at least make a good portion of them void in a sense. But, this morning I jumped on, I just asked GPT what jobs it could potentially replace. It gave me 5 or 6 of them. One was data entry and analysis, so that's repetitive data entry and stuff. So it's automated, done. Customer service, it can eventually probably replace that in the way of, there's those shopping centres, I can't remember where it is, that already don't have employees, they just have robots.
Alibaba?
Yeah, I think, or you could be right. And it scans things. So you can do the store, it scans things, it knows what you put in your cart, and you're out. So there goes customer service in that sense. Manufacturing and assembly line jobs. So that's where, manufacturing cars or whatever it be, toothpaste, for example. You've got the robot, those crazy robot arms that are lifting and doing things. It's already automated there. Transportation and logistics. It was only a couple of years ago when Tesla and Elon Musk released his self-driving trucks, and now they're kind of everywhere. So in that way, it's they don't have to stop because the driver doesn't need rest. The truck can just keep going. So there's efficiency
and safety.
And safety, absolutely, yeah. And banking and finance there as well. They can understand. They can detect fraud and they can understand everything. It's crazy. So there are only a few jobs that are probably, I guess, at risk.
Yeah. It like with those things at risk, there's going to be a lot of people who look at AI and get really nervous. Like, personally, I was like a little bit put off by it. But productivity and efficiency aren't the only things that this produces. And yes, jobs will change and be lost and those sort of things. But, it could be a really exciting change. Our decision making can be far more impressive because we're looking at complex search inquiries. How smart can we get? That sort of thing. Like, we're going to input this data and input this information. The room for error is going to be a lot smaller because we're not going to miss small details and those sort of things. You literally ask GPT, why is the water in the Tamar River so muddy? Like, all those sort of things. Or how do I make my business grow from 0 to 100 employees with ... This is what I'm doing. And it shoots out this information and it goes, here's the best recommendations. The room for error is so much smaller and the room of opportunity is so much bigger. I just think the good businesses will get better. And it's really going to be impressive, the amount of profit that businesses can make. And small businesses, just like big businesses, can benefit from this. Small businesses don't have to make, like the poor business owners who are slogging away trying to look after customer service as well as their onboarding process, plus their employees, plus their bookkeeping, plus managing their account and all those sort of things. They can get rid of the customer service by just implementing AI because they've just got a chatbot to do it, and that chatbot can learn their mannerisms so that it's done in a relational way based on the brand of the business. So that can be done, and then the onboarding process can be automated for them. And small businesses can really benefit from the activities that this AI is doing.
Yeah, and with that, I think, if you are a small business and you want to grow, this can help you grow rapidly or at the pace you choose. But if you don't jump on this rising tide, you might just be a ship sunk at the bottom of the ocean because you're just going to get left behind. Yeah. So I think it's pretty important for everyone to be aware of AI and its current capabilities, like the tools such as GPT and so on, that are relevant to their field, that they should be utilising it to its fullest potential. And certainly educating themselves about it is a great start. So whether that's watching podcasts or, YouTube videos or, going on to teachable courses. Yeah, speak to us, exactly. Well, we're going to be creating a series of teachable courses, and we're going to do few podcasts and so on about AI to educate, especially small businesses, because that's where business abundance focus is at small business, and we like to help them grow. So, as a small business owner, I would recommend keeping your eye out on what Business Abundance has to offer in the way of education about AI and how it can help you guys grow and help the team out.
I think, like, before we wrap up, there are warnings, I guess, that need to come with the AI sort of thing. Like, if they choose not to go to a professional service for support on AI, you need to understand that AI is pulling data from somewhere, so it is subject to bias and prejudice, and so it doesn't. The data's coming from somewhere. It has some sort of opinion. You need to look at that carefully and think about whether you agree with that or not.
That's right. And, well, like you said about it can be biased. So, and what I mean by that is, I guess, we'll use GPT as an example. OpenAI is the business company that owns GPT, which is founded by, I think, Sam Altman and Elon Musk back in roughly 2015. And basically, I guess they could dictate how the program's used. They could favour certain people or companies or countries. I don't know. I guess they could, distribute GPT, but they could monitor it in the fact that only, so I don't want to name countries, but only like maybe certain countries will only get like a dumbed down version. Whereas I guess these guys are US based, so the US is going to have some crazy version. So, they all think that they're equal, but they're not.
Yeah, it could not be. And the fact that it is limited by internet, like, you need internet for this. So if you have an internet dropout, like, if you've set your business up entirely on AI, you no longer have a business model. So I guess you need some sort of crisis management. Thankfully, like, that's part of my job. So it's figuring out what happens if something were to go wrong. Yes, you can rely on AI, but what happens if there's no internet? How can we still make your business work? That dependence on technology is good while internet exists and technology is running.
That's right, and that's why I wonder if jobs will change in the fact of what they do. Like I said, marketing might evolve into something else, or consulting might. I think consulting is always going to be there, but perhaps a marketer or someone, it becomes a business consultant, but the job of a consultant is a various field now. It's more specialized. Like, you could be specialized in AI, I guess. Or if you're a good business consultant, you just cover all bases, which what a weapon. So we have an amazing team of consultants.
No, it's exciting to see what happens. I guess for people listening, be careful and get advice before you jump into this and change your entire business around it. It will save you a ton of money if done well.
That's true. Cool. Well, we might wrap it up there. It's been great to have a chat to you, Zahara, about AI and GPT. I do look forward to potentially having another chat in the future about it.
Yeah, I think it'd be handy as it evolves, have more conversations, and because we're learning about this just as much as the rest of them. So
that's right. And like I said, Business Abundance are going to release some teachable courses to educate everyone, not necessarily small businesses, but it's going to be available for everyone to learn and educate themselves about AI and how they can use it to grow their business or help them in their everyday life.
Yeah,